Well, welcome back to another episode of the Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's up?
Derek, I know you like coffee, and that's your heaven. We've said it before, but this is literally my heaven. So we are at one of my favorite locations in all of Hamburg, New York, and I'm very excited to sit down with our new friend. So we'll start with introductions and go from there.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me. My name is Randy Fenton. My wife and I, Denise, own Main Street Ice Cream that we opened up about 12 years ago.
Do you just eat ice cream all the time now?
Yes. There isn't a day that doesn't go by that we don't have ice cream. Even if we're out traveling someplace, we will find an ice cream shop to stop at. But yeah, every day has ice cream involved in it, yes.
Are you able to pick up what other ice cream places do based off of when you try them? They don't use this type of cream or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pick that up pretty easily, especially after you've been eating the same ice cream for 12 years. You kind of know what other people are using or not using. Absolutely. Sure. Yeah, it makes a difference.
Now, a lot of people don't talk about what cream they use. It's kind of like an unwritten rule. So I'm not going to ask specifically.
Okay.
What I will ask is if you're low on cream, do you get restocked by the heavens and it just kind of falls down and restocks your shelves?
Well, you got to keep up on the cream. You got to know where the cream's coming from. Yes.
Okay.
So you're very nice to the heavens of cream all the way through. Yeah.
So you didn't start in ice cream, correct?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So
No.
Your history is fascinating, which is why we have the feature wall behind you. So let's discuss all of that.
All right. Well, we'll go back a ways then. So behind the wall is a whole bunch of milk bottles, and they belong to my father-in-law. And up behind me over here, you'll see a picture of 3 trucks, all in one under a memory sign. And that's actually my father-in-law's milk delivery business. So I believe it was back in the 50s, they had a milk processing plant out of Medina and Niagara Falls and a milk delivery. So they had 3 trucks that they ran, him and his father, and they had a milk, like I said, processing plant and delivery service up in that area for years. So they had their own milk bottles, their own processing plant, delivery trucks, the whole thing. So those are some of the leftovers that we have. And then he became a milk bottle collector, and now he's got about 2,500 bottles, all Western New York, and he could tell you the history of every dairy there's ever been in Western New York. Who it was sold to, who bought it, who has it now, when it went out of business, everything. I keep telling him he needs to write a book about that.
Oh, yeah. Do current dairies still use bottles?
There is 1 or 2 that does.
Okay.
Yeah, I think up in the North Towns there's one that still travels around with bottles. Most have gone to plastic.
Sure.
Even if you find one, delivery one. I think there's only 1 left, as far as I know, up in the North Towns that delivers milk.
That's wild.
They're all gone. They're all gone now. Man. So that's my wife's side. My side, I grew up on a farm out in Batavia. So I grew up on a cash crop farm and on a hog farm. And right down the road from us were my uncles that had a dairy farm. So I grew up with dairy right down the road from me my entire life. And like I said, I've been on a farm most of my young life until I got to be the adult age, I guess. So we both got some kind of dairy in our background here.
No kidding. Okay. So what led to this?
So
I feel like that's a loaded question.
yeah,
I'm sure it's got to be.
So I'll give you a short version because we only have an hour. So anyways, we got married, took my wife out to one of our farmhouses out there, and we lived in Batavia for a few years, and I decided we wanted to pick up roots and come back here where my wife grew up. So my wife graduated from Hamburg, and so we came back here and lived in the village, loved the village, and actually the building we're in right now came up for sale. So I was actually out in Batavia that day. My wife calls going, hey, there's a commercial building in the village that's for sale. I think it'd be a really good deal. I'm like, I don't know. So she actually came and looked at it while I was out there. I never came inside the building, never got to look at it. She's like, I think it's a good deal. I'm like, well, let's put a bid in, see what happens. So we put a bid in on this building. And at that time, it was a hair salon out in front here, and then had 3 apartments. So we were just looking for an investment more than anything. It'd be kind of cool to have a business, but at that time we were just looking for an investment, and we thought Main Street, Hamburg, why not?
Right.
So we did. We put a bid in, got refused. We're like, wasn't meant to be. So we went on about our life. About two and a half weeks later, we get a phone call from realtor, and they're like, hey, this guy doesn't like the way the deal's going for the other guy that was looking at buying it. You guys still interested? I said, sure, we're still interested. He goes, all right, he wants to do a deal with you. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So that's the deal went through. That's how we obtained the building. We bought it from the hairstylist that was using the storefront here that we're sitting in. He had been doing it for over 30 years out of this building, and he took on a lease with us and leased the space back from us because he wanted to stay here. So he stayed here, and he had a 2-year with a renewable 3 lease with us, and we're like, perfect. We had tenants, everything was fine. We got about 2 years into his 2nd year of his lease. He came to us, he goes, I give you a 1-year notice. He goes, I'm done. My legs are shot. I'm moving south. I'm just done. You got a 1-year notice. And that's kind of how it got started.
So, okay. So you guys basically wake up to that news.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, now we're sitting on a building. And then was it your wife? I mean, you're smirking. So.
Okay, so yeah, so all right, so we get that news, which was kind of like shocking at first because it was a little quicker than we thought. So at the time, of course, I'm working full time. My wife's a teacher's aide at the Hamburg School District here, and we knew we wanted to open a business at some point. We didn't know what, but we knew we wanted to open a business. So we're like, all right, let's start researching. So we had 4 business concepts that we were looking at.
Okay.
One was Carhartt clothing. Take over this space and just make it all Carhartt clothes because there's really nothing in this area.
Correct.
At the time, there wasn't. The other thing, let me think. We were looking. High-end snowmobile clothing.
Okay.
Because there's nothing around here to get the high-end snowmobile type of clothing we wanted. The other one was an embroidery type of shop, and that was going to be for athletic wear for teams and stuff. We could embroider their school logos, emblems, whatever they needed on their clothing. We looked at that. And then we came back to ice cream again. We're like, we really like eating ice cream. It's really good. And at the time, we had already looked at 2 other places, one in West Seneca, one in Angola, probably about 4 or 5 years before that, opening up an ice cream shop. Just wanted to look at it, and we're like, no, it just wasn't the right time. So when this came available, our youngest was old enough she could take care of herself. She was in middle school or going into high school. Our boys were up and out, older. And we're like, you know what? We really love ice cream. Let's just go for it. And that's what we did. So we decided we're going to go for ice cream. And at that point, there's actually seminars out there for ice cream, believe it or not. So we would travel to Michigan, Ohio before we opened and went to some very big, very good trade shows. Had a lot of roundtable discussions and everything. And once we got to a couple of those, we're like, yeah, that's what we want to do. So that's what we did.
Fascinating, especially because you wanted to do like Carhartt and snowmobile clothing at first. Like,
big change. Big change.
Do you like snowmobile? Like, is that a passion of yours?
That's this is a great business to have if you want a snowmobile because we close in December. So we close on Christmas Eve. So we're not here in this place all winter long. So I mean, from December to March. So we'll close on Christmas Eve every year. We open up usually the 2nd Wednesday in March. So it gives us a good 2.5 months. And obviously I enjoy the winter sports. We enjoy it. So that's what we do.
Has there been those type of companies opening up around here since then? Like Snowmobile and Carhartt or anything like that? Or no.
No. I shouldn't say that. There are some commercial stores now that carry Carhartt. So you can get Carhartt in a lot of places.
Right.
High-end snowmobile clothing, no. No, you're either online or you're going to go to one of the big shops and get it. Gotcha. And we made the right decision. We know we made the right decision. This is a great business. We enjoy coming to it every day. When we get to a point where we don't enjoy it, that's the time we're sell it or we hand it down to our kids or something like that. But at this point, it's a great business. It's fun.
Absolutely. So when you bought the building, did you buy the apartments, like the entire building? Like there's still the apartments upstairs and everything?
Yeah. So the building was a bit different when we bought it. So it was getting pretty run down. Let me see, probably 10 years into having it. So we bought it in like 06. So I think in 06 we bought it. We had tenants here and everything. It was fine. But it was just the back of the building was getting run down where it ended up, we had to put a lot of money into it just to get it up to what we would consider acceptable and nice apartments. And you start looking at the cost of doing something like that, renovating an old building. Like I tell everybody, you can renovate an old building when you're all done, you still have an old building. and that was what we were kind of facing here. So we decided 3 years ago, maybe 4, going on 4, I guess, we decided that we're going to take the building down except for the parlor we're sitting in.
Oh, okay.
So we tore the rest of the building down. Tore it down, added another 40 feet to the back of the building and extended that out. Created a retail space on the bottom now beside our ice cream shop, which we got the storefront.
Mm-hmm.
We have another retail storefront for Molly and Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Retail shop back there, and then we moved the 3 apartments up onto the top.
Oh, cool.
So you guys have the whole strip?
Yeah, this is our building. Yeah, this is all the way back.
That's awesome.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just it was a good move to do at the time, because by the time you renovate something that old, you're just going to have problems going down the line and everything else. And we had an opportunity to do it, and it made sense to do it at that time. The sad part is when they take a building down, it took them 5 hours to take the building down and truck it away, and we were left with a hole. And then my wife and I are outside going, you know what? We have a mortgage on a hole. That's all that's left is a hole. So we have a lot of payments on that hole sitting in that ground right now. So that was a little scary part of it, when we did. It was a huge undertaking for us to do something like that.
How was it working with the town on doing that?
They were fantastic.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yes. We were so impressed and so happy with the Village Hamburg. They were very supportive, along with the village people and everything else itself. Very supportive. They had done the road construction and the circles and everything else the year before we opened. So we opened in 2009. In 2008, they finished up all that construction. So it was perfect for us, timing-wise, for us to open, because we opened, we got brand new sidewalk, brand new roads, the circles, everything worked out great. And when we brought the plans of our building to the village, they were, I can't tell you, more than helpful. It was fantastic.
Now, is there a difference in boards between the village and the town?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we deal with the village.
Yep.
This is all village.
Okay.
All village. So planning board, historical, building department, everything, that all went through them.
Okay.
But yeah, so we had, had an architect design the building. We wanted to modernize the building. And you'll see there's other buildings in the area now that are taking that concept and modernizing those buildings too, to kind of follow what got started here.
Absolutely. I mean, all of Main Street is different.
Oh, yeah.
In 12 years, it's insane.
Yeah. A lot of new storefronts, and a lot of updating has taken place in the past 10, 12 years here.
Yeah. So you guys decided that you're paying a mortgage on a hole.
Yeah.
And then what was the process like to build out that entire spot and then get tenants for those?
Okay, so the building came down on February 2nd, I believe, of 2017. So the whole building came down on that day. We opened on May 24th. So we had everything ready to go. We had all our contractors lined up. We had village on board with us, building inspectors on board with us, because of all the changes and everything. So that building came down, and we immediately got right back to work putting the building up. And again, it was a focal point of the village at that point, because it was the only building going on. And you really need to walk by our building to get to a lot of the restaurants here in the village. Yeah. So a lot of times we're out there talking to the builders and everything else, and people were kind of worried, like, holy cow, is Main Street Ice Cream closing? That was the thought. So finally they could see, like, oh, this is Main Street Ice Cream doing this work. So it went up very quickly. I was in sealing concrete floor on our retail space in the back, and a young lady walked in going, hey, you're going to be renting the space? I'm like, yes, we are. And at the time, she was living in Boston. Her family was from Hamburg. Her sister lived in Hamburg. And she's like, I think we'd like to rent it. We want to open a business. So we took a chance on them, and they took a chance on us, and it worked out fantastic. So that retail space was rented before it was finished.
Oh, wow.
As for the apartments, so especially for 2 of the apartments, we had people climbing ladders while it was being built, and those were the people that rented it, because they wanted to see it as it was being built, so they had already committed to renting it before it was even completed.
It's like a dream situation.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out great. Again, you're moving into a brand new building, you're moving into brand new apartments, brand new appliances. It's like a new house,
Right.
really. So, and our location turned to be a focal point
Correct.
of the village. I mean, we are right in the main driveway that goes into municipal parking lot. So many people walk by our place to get to all the fine restaurants we have around here and everything. So we have a focal point area that we're in. So we're very fortunate. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
This spot's so ideal because everybody parks in the same parking lot to hit the roundabout.
Yep.
And then it just, if you're short on money, there's the bank.
Yeah.
Literally next door. So
Yeah.
you deal with the ATM fee of, $1.50 or whatever.
Right.
Enjoy your dinner. Come here. Splurge on ice cream because you can't not have ice cream when you walk past here.
Yeah.
And then you go home with a massive stomach ache and all the memories in the world that you want.
And everybody's happy.
And then you do it again the next week.
You betcha.
Yep.
You betcha. Yeah. And we try and make sure that when we're making our waffle cones, we have the windows open.
Right.
So as the people are walking by, they can catch that smell and they got it as we're like, maybe just a small one. Maybe we can get a small one.
Right.
So it works.
We have a ton of ice cream specific questions for you, but before we get to that,
Yep.
the Main Street Ice Cream, the actual name of the place. Did you think of any other names, or was it always going to be Main Street Ice Cream?
No, we had a whole bunch of other
Yep.
names, but we're not big on naming things after ourselves or anything
Right.
like that. It just didn't make sense, and we're like, oh, just keep it simple. Main Street Ice Cream. Heck, we could go any place in the U.S. and do a Main Street Ice Cream if we ever wanted to expand or something like that.
True.
We can easily expand that name out if we wanted to. There are no plans to do that.
Gotcha.
But if there was, we could do it. But it fit. It was right.
Cool.
It was a good fit.
Do you do card here? Like, just because we were talking about the bank, do you accept credit cards for payments,
yeah.
or are you cash? Okay.
No. We accept credit cards. So we accept cash, credit card. We now do DoorDash. We do curbside delivery. So there's many ways to get our product. So like I said, we have a window, walk-up window. We got indoor. We have indoor seating. We have DoorDash, and we have curbside delivery. So we kind of cover it all.
Sure.
So in regards to products, what makes you guys different from an other ice cream parlor to keep it fancy?
Okay. All right. So when we started out, it was kind of the ambience of the place with all the old bottles and just the uniqueness of our place here. So that kind of made us different, along with either my wife or I or both of us are here majority of the time. I'm going to say probably 85 to 90% of the time you're going to find one of us here. The owners actually run this business. We got some great workers, but we're here
Right.
all the time. That turned us different. So customer service was big for us. And that set us apart, we think, from maybe some of the competition. But you get to a point where you want to do more. There's got to be more we could do, something different. And so about 4 years ago, right around when we were tearing our building down, my wife and I took a trip down to Florida. We're kind of big on American-made stuff. So there is an ice cream maker that's made in the U.S. called Emery Thompson. We flew down to Florida, went through the factory where they make these ice cream makers, and 4 hours later, we were writing a check to them going, okay, let's do it. Let's take this next leap. And at that point, we said, we're going to start making our own ice cream. So that was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Someplace in there, we decided we're going to start making our own ice cream. So we went down there during the wintertime, got that shipped up, and that was up here for the beginning of that season. So we started out with just like 2 or 3 different flavors.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what you're doing. You're just trial and error, seeing what we could do here. So we started out with 2 or 3 different flavors, and then kept adding and more. And then the next year we'd add even more. And now, we're to the point now where we offer 22 to 24 handcrafted ice creams that we make here ourselves. And that, to your question, has very much set us apart from everybody.
Now, how does they all come out of the same machine?
They all come out of the same machine.
So cleaning must be insane because how do you not mix flavors, right?
Yeah. Cleaning's insane. Cleaning takes forever. So when you make ice cream, you just dedicate hours to doing it. So
Okay.
A lot of times I'm here, and people will come here that we know, I missed you. We're at the shop, didn't see you. I'm like, well, that's because I'm at back making ice cream. That's where I live most of the time, is back there at the ice cream maker. Today I'll make ice cream. It's going to be kind of rainy today, so our help can handle the window. So I'll just stay in the back and just churn out ice cream. So I make 5-gallon batches all
Okay.
the time. So that's how much I make at a time. So I'll make 5 gallons at a time, and then switch over, make another 5 gallons, switch over, make another 5 gallons, whatever. Machine's pretty well built that you can tear it apart pretty quick, clean it, sanitize it, put it back together, and go on. So it's time consuming.
Right.
So on average, it's about a half hour per batch. That's what it turns out to be.
That's not bad at all, actually.
It's not bad, but when you got 22 flavors,
Sure, yeah, it gets a lot.
it adds up. Yeah, it adds up.
What's the shelf life of 5 gallons of ice cream?
You know, that's really totally going to depend on what kind of quality of freezer you have. So we have what's called a blast freezer in the back. So you make your ice cream, it goes into a blast freezer, so it freezes it down very quickly, so it doesn't crystallize on you. In that freezer, you could get a couple months out of it. Once you bring it out into your dipping cabinet, now you're at like 3 degrees, 0 to 3 degrees. Now your quality, you want to go through that ice cream. You want to get through it before it becomes sticky
Sure.
and things like that. So even at that rate, you're probably good for 1 to 2 weeks out here. Our ice cream doesn't last that long before we're going through it. We rotate it through faster than that, but probably out in something like that. In our eyes, you're going to get 1-2 weeks out of it pretty easily without seeing a breakdown in the quality. The common person probably won't see the breakdown that we're seeing. We can see it, just
Sure.
the crystallization of it and stuff like that, because
Sure.
we're around it all the time. We can see that breakdown. Would you notice it as a consumer? Probably not.
I also wouldn't care. I just want to eat it. It's so good. Because basically, there's a movie scene where a kid buys a massive tub of ice cream, and I've always wanted to do that. And I will never give up that dream until I do it. So I was curious, because I have a chest freezer, if I bought 5 gallons of ice cream to be unbelievably obnoxious, not saying I will, how long would that actually last? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we get people that will buy 2.5 gallons because that's how we will sell it in 2.5 gallon boxes.
Is that the biggest?
There you go.
Well, yeah,
All right,
because
easy. You'll be fine.
You can buy as many boxes as you want, though. So do whatever you want. But yeah, it's 2.5 gallons in a box. That's how we package it.
Uh-huh.
And we'll have a lot of people buy that for their winter. So before we close in the last week,
Gotcha.
they're pumping it. We're pumping out boxes of ice cream because they want their certain kind and they want it to last all winter. So you're probably talking 3 months in your freezer. But again,
I didn't know you did that.
the bigger the package, better the quality is going to last that
Sure.
much longer.
So all your ice cream flavors you're able to do that with?
Yeah.
That's
I'm trying
awesome.
to think if there's really nothing. You know, the ones that you want to kind of stay away from is anything that has nuts in it.
Sure.
Because the nuts will
Sure.
eventually soften up.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, for the
That's
most
awesome.
part, yeah.
So
we do
before
everything.
you started making your own ice cream, did you
Yep.
just go to Restaurant Depot and just buy tubs
No.
of ice? Okay, so yeah.
No. So, a little story behind that.
Yep.
All right. So we started out with Perry's ice cream.
Okay.
I'm out of Akron. And there's a little family connection there. So my great-grandfather worked at Perry's Ice Cream and actually was friends with Morton Perry, the founder
Really?
of Perry's Ice Cream. So years and years ago, Morton Perry and my great-grandfather used to go on a fishing trip to Canada every year, every summer. Same place, same family, same lakes.
Whereabouts in Canada?
It's called South River. So
Okay.
it's a little bit south of North Bay, about
Okay.
a half hour south of North Bay. So they would go together on fishing trips. So there's a connection with Perry's Ice Cream that I thought was very, very cool. We still go to that same camp. And we're now, my daughter is 5th generation still going there.
That's awesome.
So we started out with Perry's. After a year with Perry's, Perry said, I guess there's too much competition in the area, and they said they weren't going to sell to us. So we're very disappointed in that, that they weren't going to sell to us because there's another person or venue in the area that sold ice cream, and they're like, we can't create that much competition between two retail outlets. And since we were new on the block, I guess we got dropped. So we're really disappointed in that. So we went to Turkey Hill after that. So from, the next 8 years, something like that, we carried Turkey Hill, and quality, butterfat content, everything was exactly the same. Very good product. And we're really, really happy with Turkey Hill. And we still would be very happy with Turkey Hill. We just needed to, branch off and do something a little bit different, as you said before, what makes us different. We needed to get away from just buying tubs of ice cream, scoop in for somebody.
Right.
So That's how we got into it, from starting out with Perry's, and that's how we ended up switching to Turkey Hill
Sure.
and everything. And Perry's did, offer to come back, and at that point we were too committed to Turkey Hill and really liked their quality, and we said, no, we're going to stick with what we have and keep moving forward, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
I feel like jumping back and forth would create a little inconsistency too. Like
It does.
you kind of want some consistency. So now
You
you're
want-
making your own ice cream and you're just going to run with that.
Yep.
There seems to be way too many coincidences though, that like you have a connection with Perry's, you have like dairy people in the family. Were you just fed ice cream growing up, and this just is what, because Mike and I love ice cream, but I wouldn't have opened an ice cream stand, So
Speak for yourself, dude.
that's what I did say.
Oh, well,
So-
we did grow up eating ice cream. I mean, we ate ice cream all the time. I remember every Friday night was a trip to the Dairy Queen
Yep.
with
Sure.
my great uncles who had the dairy farm. So there's always that connection,
Right.
and my parents owned a restaurant for a few years and everything else. So we had the restaurant background a little bit. So I kind of knew what I was getting into from that standpoint. So yeah, ice cream has always been a big part. Playing Little League baseball and all that stuff. What'd you do after a baseball game? It was the ice cream shop, and I remember if they had a 3-scooper and I was this high, I'm getting a 3-scooper. That's what I'm getting, and I
Right.
finished it every time. But yeah, I mean, ice cream's always been a huge part, and like I said, the dairy background and the restaurant background a little bit too. It all played into it,
Yeah. When you transitioned from Turkey Hill to making your own, did you advertise that to the consumer, saying that we're going to now create our own ice cream, or did you let the consumer figure that out themselves?
Yeah, we kind of introduced that. We rolled that out pretty slow.
Yeah.
We would make our own ice cream and just put it in the freezer here and scoop from it and stuff like that. And once we got our confidence up and understood what we were doing, then we started advertising more and more. And now we really push it's handcrafted ice cream.
Yeah.
Now we really push that. It's a big deal. I mean, we've done things where we've asked the public to come up with the flavor, and we'll try and make it for you, and you get a pint of it. If we
Oh,
use
cool.
your idea, we'll give you a pint of it.
Yeah.
So every year we'll do something like that, and we always follow a Girl Scout cookie one early in the spring here. So we always done a couple batches of Girl Scout cookie ones. You'll find ice creams here you probably will not find anyplace.
That's awesome.
Anyplace.
It's just funny too, because when you try somewhere new, it's always the staple. Like it's either chocolate vanilla or twist, and then you're just trying to get a feel for like what's going on. I still remember the first thing I had here. It was a peanut butter sundae, and I asked for chocolate ice cream to be made with it.
Yeah.
I sat outside and I people watched, and it was great. And I just slowly ate the ice cream, and I was like 5 years old all over again. And then it was just a blast of telling everybody, like, hey, it actually is a real deal. Like, you should come check this place out. And then it's just been like love at first sight. And then now you have so many different products, like the ice cream sandwiches that are in the freezer, the cakes, and there's so many things that I haven't had. And I know I'm moving back down here soon, so it's dangerous. It's gonna be a very long, you'll see me, basically.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And you'll find out the more you eat ice cream, the more you'll most likely get away from the soft serve and start going towards the hard.
Correct.
Because there's so many more different varieties and tastes in the hard scooped ice cream than there is in the soft serve. People really gravitate towards hard as they become more ice cream enthusiasts, I guess you would say, and you'll see. And our new one we're starting, I just made it last night. It'll be out today. It should be ready maybe a little bit later today. And somebody, you'll probably never find it, it's strawberry rhubarb ice cream.
Ooh.
It's seasonal. It's a very short season. We try and keep it here for about a month, but you'll never find that anyplace else. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've never seen it anyplace else. Well, it's kind of nice that we can come up with our own ideas.
Sure. Yep.
My wife and I will just brainstorm. We might go to our help going, all right, who's got an idea for an ice cream? And we'll take their idea. Maybe we'll tweak it a little bit or something, but it works.
So your ice cream sandwiches, your ice cream cakes, you have ice cream cakes too? That's all obviously made with your own ice cream too?
Yeah, that's all made in-house here. My wife does most of that stuff. So we got novelties, ice cream sandwiches. We have ice cream cakes. We have ice cream pies. Ice cream pies are pretty popular. We can do custom cakes if people give us a couple day notice if they want something made with cookie dough, ice cream, or some other kind of hard ice cream we make. As long as we got a couple day notice, we can make a custom made cake for people. We got 3 different sizes of cakes. We can feed anything from 8 people up to 25 people.
Wow.
Things like that. So yeah,
That's amazing.
They're becoming more and more popular too.
And waffle cones, is that typical that people make their own waffle cone, or is that something unique to you guys as well?
I really can't speak for other people.
Sure.
We've been making them all along.
Gotcha.
So we do waffle cones here are made every day. Every day they're being made here. It's time consuming, but you see people when they walk in the door, they're like, first thing you say, what smells so good?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the waffle cones.
Right.
That's a waffle cone. And you don't really want to hand them a warm waffle cone, but man, to get a warm waffle cone in your hand is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so we make our own waffle cones. I don't know what other people do. And a lot of them, you can buy them a heck of a lot cheaper than you can make them for.
Sure.
But we chose to make them.
Good for you. Fires me up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So are we getting ice cream right now, or what?
Well, yeah.
After, we'll definitely get some.
Yeah,
There's a whole case right here. So
I know.
So what type of? You said you have the strawberry rhubarb that's kind of unique.
Yep.
What other flavor did you make that you're like, this is something that we've never even heard of before? Is there something like that, or something unique?
You know what? We always got unique stuff going on. So we have a basic 20-ish flavors. I'm going to say those are our base flavors that we have all the time.
Yeah, just a casual 20.
Yeah. And then there's usually 4 flavors of the month. So I just got done making the 4 flavors. So strawberry rhubarb, we got one called Elvis. That's going to be a banana-based ice cream that I made. And then we got peanut butter and chocolate fudge in that one. Then we did a Girl Scout lemon cookie one. That's a lemon ice cream. Won't find that very often. So we have a lemon ice cream with lemon cookies in it. We've done a grandma's banana pudding ice cream. That was a pretty good one.
So when you make these, like the lemon and the banana, are you using real fruit for that, or is it extracts, or can we not talk about that? Because that's
well, it kind of depends on what. We use real fruit if we can, where we can.
Okay.
Lemon's tough.
Sure.
So that one you need an extract. Banana, you can use real fruit. You have to have a strong fruit for it to get the taste out of it.
Yeah, the flavor, absolutely.
You may have to supplement some of them with an extract or something like that. There's absolutely, you may have to do that. But we try and get some kind of real fruit if we're having a fruit type of ice cream or whatever. We do a key lime. It definitely has fresh squeezed lime.
Nice.
You do a lemon ice, same with a lemon ice, strawberry sorbet, it's got fresh strawberries and things like that. So if we can use fresh fruit, we do. But again, it's a taste that you're after. You got to get that taste. And if we need to use an extract or a concentrate to do that, we will do it.
So another big thing is dairy free. Do you offer dairy free ice cream?
Yeah, we have. That's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a few things that we're offering right now. A Dole Whip.
Yep.
We are one of the first in the areas to have Dole Whip. Great product. Very consistent. We keep our flavors. We don't change them up a lot. Pineapple. We're on cherry right now. We'll switch over to watermelon in a little while. So we offer that. Then we switch off another machine between oat milk, which is a rich product from Buffalo here. So we have a chocolate or a vanilla oat milk depending on where we are in our rotation. And then we also do an almond milk. Again, all those are soft serve. And then we do a homemade lemon ice, which I can make ices in my ice cream machine. So we make a homemade lemon ice, and we try and have some kind of homemade sorbet at all times too. So we just got done with mango sorbet. We just put out strawberry. Just made strawberry sorbet a couple days ago. So now we got four options for dairy free right now. But usually we'll have at least 1 or 2 going. It's just it's so popular. We seem like 4 seems to be kind of the staple now.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then other dietary restrictions in the ice cream industry, what exists outside of dairy free? And do you offer them?
Not here.
Okay.
We have a lot of people that come in here going, what do you have for sugar free? And I'm like, we don't carry anything sugar free. We don't carry anything that's no sugar added either, because the taste is not there. The scoopability of it is hard.
Sure.
We've tried to make it, and it's not a quality ice cream. We just if we don't like it, we don't want to serve something that we're not really proud to have out there. And all the sugar-free or no sugar added that we've seen is not something that we would be proud to put out in our shelf.
Sure.
So at this point, we do not. Vegan, yes. Non-dairy, yes. But sugar-free or no sugar added, no. Not at this point.
In regards to the famous blizzard, other places call it like an Arctic swirl.
Yep.
Is there a patent on like a name or the product itself? And then how do you kind of incorporate that on your menu without, I don't know, I guess, like pissing someone off?
Yeah,
basically?
I think a lot of them are trademarked. Is what
Are they?
are. Yeah. So
Okay.
we have a whirlwind, is what we call it, and same thing. Same thing. Except we use our quality custard in our whirlwinds.
Mm-hmm.
So we always think they're a little bit step above others, maybe. So we call ours a whirlwind, and I don't know if anybody else out there calls theirs a whirlwind. They might have, but the one that's probably trademarked is from the big
Blizzard.
name people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Which-
guess that's trademarked.
It's funny because I mentioned we did another interview with Rise Fitness Studio down the road, and we were obnoxiously early, which you and I always talk about because I can't be late to anything, hence we were early today. And because we were so early, I'm like, I have time. I have time for a small whirlwind. So I literally jogged over here,
Nice.
crushed one before
There you
the
go.
interview, and I'm like, fitness is very important. And my stomach is like, it sure is. And it's enjoying the ice cream I just shoved down my gullet.
Yeah.
But what made me probably the most happy is that your small is equivalent to other people's mediums and or larges.
It is.
And I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, you can never have enough ice cream. So having larger portions specifically for ice cream kind of that's why the sundaes were so different, because it's super filling, because you're actually getting
It is.
a really good, and you're getting a lot for your money.
It is. You get a lot for your money, and the thing that I guess most people don't know is the butterfat content of the ice cream that's being used to make your product makes such a huge difference on the fulfillment of it, how much you get filled up. So we use a very high butterfat content.
Okay.
So even though you're not getting a giant cone, you're getting a nice sized cone. By the time you're done with the cone, you're full. That's what you need
Due to the butterfat.
due to the butterfat.
So not the
Yeah.
cream.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the same, one and the same.
Is it?
Butterfat is the big one. That's
Gotcha.
what you're looking for, butterfat content. So, if you have a very low butterfat content, you feel like you can eat a way bigger cone, lot bigger cone, and everything else. But from a satisfaction standpoint, the butterfat content gives you the creaminess and the fullness of that ice cream.
So, and like the silkiness as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And that's why
Fascinating.
you'll see grainy type ice cream,
Yes.
very low butterfat.
That's a difference.
Oh, huge,
Okay.
huge
All right.
difference. Yeah, it makes a huge. So when you get whatever, you go to your big places and franchises, it's a lot less expensive to get a lower butterfat
True.
ice cream, a mix. So they'll use that and still sell it. It's good. It's not the same. It's not the same. So when somebody comes in here and asks us for a blizzard, I said, well, we have blizzards. We have whirlwinds, but they're better. It's a different ice cream.
Yeah.
We're just using a different product. A little bit more butterfat.
I love it too, because I was supposed to get something that was say $5, and then it's just like, well, you can add, some toppings and things to your whirlwind.
Yeah.
And by the time I was done, it was basically like $10. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever had. I was like, I don't feel bad at all.
It's a meal at that point.
Well, correct. And what was funny is because you take cards, you basically just don't care. You're like, I'm now 100% going to get what I want
That's
because
right. That's
I can
right.
do it. Whereas with cash, you're limited to
Yeah,
whatever you have.
It does make a difference. Because you'll see people with the cash, and then all of a sudden they'll put that back, and out comes a card because they've looked at other parts of the menu that they want to see, or the kids have looked at, can I get 2 scoops instead of 1,
Yeah.
or whatever. They always
So yeah,
want to bring.
what is your sizes?
Okay,
in
so-
regards to hard ice cream.
So hard ice cream, we got a 1 scoop, baby, kids, whatever. A 2 scoop is regular, 3 scoop is large. So we got 1, 2, or 3 scoop, and then we also offer a flight. And a flight is 4 scoops in a nice tray. So a lot of people, first time they've ever been to this place, they'll get a flight. So they can try a whole bunch of different kinds. If they got a group of people, they'll all get flights. And so you'll have 12 different ice creams sitting in front of 3 people. and they can all share and do that. So flights have become pretty popular, but it's 1 scoop, 2 scoop, 3 scoops. That's what we have for our hard ice cream. And then for soft serve, we got the baby through a large. So baby, small, medium, large, soft serve ice cream.
Nice. That's fascinating. So
Sundays?
Sundays, we got all kinds of stuff. So we have a small and a large sundae, and that's a 1 scoop. 2 scoop or a 3 scoop sundae for hard ice cream.
Yeah, and if you get a small sundae, I don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah, you might as well.
Correct.
And then we have the premium sundaes. So the premium sundaes, there's 3 scoop sundaes, but those is where you really get into a lot of different toppings, and our most popular product by far, peanut butter supreme, turtle sundae. Those are the 2 biggest ones that sell out the door, out the window, and through DoorDash. That's by far the biggest seller that we have is our premium sundaes.
Now, my family worked in ice cream parlors as their first job for years. I was always told whirlwinds are super annoying to make, as are milkshakes. How do you feel about that? Or do you not care because you just love ice cream so much?
Well, you know what? Our milkshake machine, you can always tell when somebody has blown one up. And that's what we call it. Did you blow one up? Because most of the milkshake is on the machine, on the counter, and on the floor. And they're overdrawing more ice cream for some reason. So, yeah, you can blow up a milkshake. That's what we call it. Especially with hard ice cream. They are challenging to make. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of fun to watch you help when they're new, trying to make them. We guide them, but they have to learn. And same with the whirlwind. They can be tough. If you don't know how to hang on to something correctly, that thing gets spinning, gets out of your hand, and all of a sudden your hand's there and the whirlwind's going around with a cup home along with it, and you have nothing in your hand anymore. So that's when you look down your shirt going, probably should have brought another shirt today.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a little challenging, Mm-hmm. And then we got some great help. We do. We always, for some reason, end up with some great help here. And they're always young kids. It's usually the first job. So there's a lot of training involved with, customer service. You got to handle money. You got to take care of issues or problems. You got to be nice. You got to smile. So it's fun to watch kids progress through that from shy, hardly saying anything. And we usually keep them 4 years, give or take. So we try and bring them in at 16. And usually by their second year in college, they're looking for internships someplace. Right. So that's usually the progression we get. 16, we try and keep them up until their sophomore year in college. And then at that point, we know, okay, it's limited. They're going to go off and do their own thing here pretty soon. But that's how our help goes, and it's pretty good.
How many employees total?
Depends on how we're doing on the season and everything. We get up to around 7 employees, plus my wife and I, and that depends. We also have a concession trailer, so we go out with concession trailer to events, graduation parties, weddings, things like that. So once the trailer starts rolling, that takes me and usually another person out of the shop on the road doing that. So that adds a couple more employees to our staff when we're rolling with the trailer.
Sure. And then during the main season, what are your hours?
Hours are usually like we'll switch our hours probably next week. We'll be open at noon till 9:30, and that'll be Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday will probably be 11 till 10 at night.
Okay.
So those are the long days, because everybody's basically eating out on Friday night.
Yeah. So it's not uncommon that at 9:30 we have a line going down our sidewalk,
correct,
coming through the door at 9:30 at night. They're having a late dinner. There's nothing going on the next day. They got time to relax, and with all the seating we have outside on our patio, it's really nice to see people out there just hanging out.
That's
so
awesome.
We're out for it.
Yeah.
So social media, you're on Instagram, I believe at Main Street Ice Cream.
Correct.
Are you on Facebook at all?
We're on Facebook also. Yep. We're on Facebook and Instagram. So, and my daughter and wife pretty much take care of that. So Sarah and Denise take care of all that social media stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
So.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on?
No, we appreciate your time and coming out and interviewing us and seeing what our place is all about. We really appreciate it. And again, we just welcome everybody. Come on down, try some good ice cream sometime.
Thank you.
Homemade ice cream too.
You got it.
Perfect.
Thanks
you very
a lot.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.